Now, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Human Aviation. Now, in today's video, we are back finally in the new Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Finally, brand new after the months of waiting. Now, again, I did pre-order this game about a month ago from today of filming. But in today's video, we're just going to check it out and show through things that I am interested in and how this looks and how it's good looking. Things that I like, and talk about the things that they are going to work on. But we can see I do like this menu, the kind of 3D effects that it gives with the exterior points. I feel like that's just a cool little thing. We also have a few different options here, of course, world photographer, activities, free flight, career, all of this we'll be seeing in the future. I'll definitely be doing career in the future. I haven't actually done it yet. That will be in some future videos after I go through it a little bit. We can also see the marketplace is currently still coming soon, so we'll wait for that in the future, see what these things are. But first, I just wanted to say how much I like this new world map. It just feels so much more responsive and nice to see. Like, you can see it's dark over here, and then over here on the light side, you can also see the sun. It just makes it feel a little more smoother and more realistic on just the Earth map. Very, very cool. Now, first, we'll check out the planes that we have. Of course, we saw them earlier, so I'm not going to go through all of them. But you can see we have a huge selection here. And that is a lot of Asobo Studios and a bunch of different manufacturers and video game developers who have come together to make different planes for this game. So very, very cool. In this video, we are mainly going to be starting on the Cirrus Vision Jet, obviously. It's a very nice little tiny jet that is kind of underpowered, but, you know, it's from Cirrus. Has a few cool features on it. So we're going to get into that today. Let's check it out. Now, with the new Flight Simulator, we now see this newer loading screen, as you can see. We no longer go into this kind of flat screen where it just shows you having to load, and there's a loading bar. It actually shows you the satellite data until you zoom in. So now, obviously, once you start out here, we can see that we are on the ground, which is very cool. Very new feature. You can see I have a little character here I did design. We can't really see him. I know you can exit the camera view. I do not know how to do that, but we'll figure that out. But you can see we start with like a little walk around thing. So we can see, come up here and take off the engine covers. Just grab that. And we can also see the chocks that we have to remove. And we can also check the conditions of things, like this tire here. And the strut, make sure everything is in new condition. Make sure that there were no bad landings. We can also remove the pitot cover. That's probably important. And we can also test some of these things over here. More wheels. And another strut. So this is a very cool walk-around thing that's new in the Flight Simulator. You can also see that the doors do work. Here we have a baggage door. You can look in there. We can close that up. And we can also come around to the back, where we can then test our rudder vaders, as they call them. You can see I can just move this around, obviously like a new plane, or like what you do in real life. Same with the aileron. In real life, you just move it up and down, and you could just see that there. Make sure it's moving smoothly. We can also move the fuel cap, make sure there's fuel in there. We can also inspect the flap. Again, just like the tires, we just look at it. Looks like it's in new condition. So we'll now move over here to other side. We'll just get all of this done quickly. Just want to show you, we can also see the brake apparently, just to show what the outside thing is like. We don't have to do this every time, and you can also just skip it if you don't want to, but I do think it is pretty cool here to see this thing like you do in real life. Definitely with general aviation, you get to actually move this stuff around. But after that, we make sure our plane looks pretty good. We can also inspect front here. Everything else looks good. This is where the cap's parachute flies out of, and we can see our engine is up there. So that is pretty much it. We can just hop into the cockpit by opening up the door. You can just see it'll open up here, and we can just click this and it opens, and then our door will close behind it. Very, very nice and realistic. So let's just start up our Cirrus jet. Easily pretty nice to just start it up. We have strobe lights here, oxygen, torpedo heat. That's pretty much all you have to do to turn on your plane, and it will just start running. So that's pretty much it. That's all you really need for this plane. You can also see things up here. We have some more flight removing things for the emergency exit and the caps handle, and we can also see other things around here. So it's currently testing itself here. So we'll wait for it to start, and we'll start up the engine. So nicely with the Cirrus jet, we can just come over here and move the engine button, kind of like a car. Turns itself on there very nicely. We can see starter engaged, fuel pump on. All of this is very nice. We can also see our N1s coming up here and our oil temperature, along with our thrust. You can see, you can hear it running back there. Our one little engine. It does kind of look like a dolphin, but that's how this plane always looks. You see, oh, this is a pushback person, pushback type. There's a diamond aircraft that seems to be waiting over here. One thing that I do like about the new flight simulator is the just ground things that they've added. It just feels so much better with variety. Definitely with smaller general aviation airports, you can see lots of little SR-22s, a little Grand Caravan over there, a little fighter jet thing over there. So very cool. It makes it feel a little more realistic and less just random things that are just around. So we can definitely see here, we have our emergency battery warnings. We'll just ignore all that. We don't need that. We don't need that right now. So we'll just start taxiing to the runway. Obviously, we only have one engine, so we'll just only have to use one of our things. Oh, he's gonna get hit. So let's see how this plane flies. So nicely, the Cirrus jet is very easy to start up, and we are already at the runway. So we'll just go for takeoff here. It's yelling about the pitch trim. We'll just ignore that. We don't need any pitch trim. So let's keep going here. Obviously, a smaller plane, so it's a little harder to take off, or a little more wobbly on the ground. That's just because I'm not used to smaller planes like this. Let's see, there we go. And we are off into the skies. We can bring up our landing gear. You can see that go up. And we can also see the physics feel pretty good on this plane. And we can see we can already rise up the flaps. And here we are in our Cirrus jet, flying nicely into the skies. Now there is a few cool features with the Cirrus jet. Obviously first, we have this new button back here, which is safe return, which is in the Cirrus Vision jets. I'll be making a video about that later on. But we also have this CAPS activation handle. And if you don't know what CAPS is it's a parachute system that is in Cirrus planes, like the SR-22 and the Cirrus Vision jet, that have a parachute in case things go very wrong, like an engine failure over very, very empty areas. We'll try to go find some of those later, but we will be testing that in today's video and seeing how it works. So we're going to fly a little further and get up to 5,000 feet, and we'll test out the caps. So here we are in a more rural area, and we're at 6,000 feet, and oh no, our engine has failed. What will we ever do? There's no airports really, so we can't really use safe return. We'll just ignore all of the fields that are around us, and we're not landing on grass, so we'll just have to figure out another issue. We could land in this field, but say we're already running out of speed and we're going to stall and we don't have any place to really go. It would probably be safer to then pull caps. Now they pull this down and then pull out, and we can already see that we have our front comes out, and we see we have a big ginormous parachute that comes behind us. Now this is very cool to be modeled in the flight simulator, because previously in 2020 none of our planes have really had any of these features. But look at that, we have a big parachute on top of our plane. You can see it flies out of the front nose, like I said earlier, so this whole thing pops off, and you can see we're just floating down safely to the ground at about 2,500 feet per minute. Of course, we would put the landing gear down because the whole point is to land on the surface of the ground. We won't be like falling out of the sky. So it's actually a very cool concept that Cirrus did, and is actually in Cirrus planes. And it has worked pretty nicely. It's pretty much exactly like this is. So, of course, obviously, first you'd want to brace because of the first pulling back. But see, we can now land in this very rural area down here. And we can just see how everything goes. Let's just keep going. So here we are a few minutes later, landing on the grassy patch of land down here. We are just now landed nicely on the field. Pretty, not very smooth landing, but that is not my doing. That is just the plane. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be making a lot more this week because of the new flight simulator. One thing that I do want you guys to see is the absolute craziness of grass animations and sand animations. You can see as we're rolling over the grass, it creates tire marks. Very, very cool in my opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.